Sailors once whispered about a creature so vast it could drag entire ships beneath the waves. They called it the Kraken, a monster rising from the depths of Norse legend. To the frightened men of the sea, this was no myth but a terrifying possibility, waiting just beyond the horizon where maps faded into unknown waters. The Kraken was described as larger than islands, with tentacles long enough to wrap around masts and drag down whole fleets. Medieval texts warned of whirlpools forming when it sank, sucking vessels after it. For generations, fishermen feared that a ripple on calm seas could be the first sign of an unimaginable predator. Legends flourished in Scandinavia, where seafarers braved cold, violent waters. Norse sagas mention beasts lurking beneath fjords, their appearances treated as omens of disaster. In these icy regions, survival depended on respect for the sea. Stories of Kraken weren't entertainment. They were warnings. They kept sailors cautious, even when logic suggested the ocean was simply unpredictable. By the 18th century, European naturalists debated whether the Kraken could be real. Some suggested it was a giant octopus or colossal squid, misidentified by terrified crews. Others insisted it was exaggeration born from sea storms. Yet reports kept coming. Sightings of monstrous arms, strange carcasses washing ashore, and ships lost without clear explanation. The most famous early account came from a Norwegian bishop, Erik Punt. In the 1750s, he described Kraken as an island-sized beast whose back could be mistaken for land. Pantopeden blended myth with observation, convincing many readers that the creature truly existed. His writings gave the legend credibility at a time when science and folklore often overlapped. In reality, sailors frequently encountered unfamiliar phenomena. Massive schools of fish, storm waves, volcanic activity, or floating debris. But fear magnified what they saw. A few shadows became tentacles. An unusual wave became a monster's back. The Kraken became a catch-all explanation for danger at sea, where invisible threats always felt alive and personal. The image of the Kraken became deeply rooted in culture. Maps from the 16th and 17th centuries featured monstrous illustrations on uncharted waters. These drawings warned explorers that venturing too far meant courting death. To sailors, it symbolized the ultimate unknown. To mapmakers, it was a reminder that the ocean still had secrets no man had conquered. Whalers in later centuries occasionally reported battles with enormous creatures. Sailors claimed whales were pulled under by writhing arms from below. Though embellished, these tales had kernels of truth. The deep did contain animals large enough to challenge whales. Unknown to them, science was inching closer to discovering the real giants that fueled these stories. By the 19th century, fragments of huge tentacles began washing ashore in Newfoundland and Iceland. Scientists studied them with fascination, measuring lengths far beyond any known species. Carcasses decomposed quickly, but the evidence was enough to confirm that massive cephalopods did exist. What had once been legend was slowly stepping into the realm of biology. The Kraken, once a phantom of Norse imagination, was evolving into the giant squid of science. For the first time, the monstrous became measurable. Yet even with physical evidence, mysteries remained. How big could these creatures grow? How did they live in such unreachable depths? And most importantly, did they match the terrifying legends that haunted mariners for centuries? The discovery of giant squid parts in fishermen's nets shocked the scientific community. Beaks the size of fists, tentacles stretching many meters. These were not exaggerations, but reality. For centuries, the Kraken had been dismissed as fantasy. Now biology confirmed that enormous cephalopods truly existed, though not quite the island-sized demons of sailor lore. In 1857, Danish naturalist Japatus Steenstrup studied squid remains from Greenland waters. He officially named the species Architeuthis duxta giant squid. This was a landmark moment, giving a mythical monster a place in taxonomy. Yet, for decades, sightings remained rare. Most evidence came from dead specimens, leaving the living creature shrouded in mystery. Whalers often reported terrifying encounters. Some claimed to see tentacles slapping the surface as whales struggled below. Scars found on sperm whales suggested fierce battles in the deep. These marks, round and lined, like Sasuchan cup impressions, hinted at colossal squid grappling with Earth's largest predators in darkness miles beneath the ocean's surface. For the public, such stories kept the Kraken alive. Newspapers dramatized every report, blending fact and fantasy. Illustrations showed monsters dragging ships under waves. Science explained only part of the puzzle, leaving room for imagination. The giant squid became a strange hybrid, part verified species, part living legend, occupying the space between evidence and myth. The problem was that giant squids lived in places humans rarely visited. Found at depths of 1,000 meters or more, they were beyond the reach of divers and early submersibles. Their fragile bodies decomposed quickly when brought up, turning to mush before scientists could study them properly. The ocean was hiding its secrets. Well, throughout the 20th century, research advanced slowly. More carcasses washed ashore, particularly in Newfoundland, Spain, and New Zealand. Scientists measured them, sometimes over 40 feet long, though much of that length came from their tentacles. Even so, the size was staggering. Finally, proof existed that something matching the Kraken's scale did live in the sea. Still, photographs of living specimens eluded science. Every attempt failed. Cameras sent deep returned nothing but darkness. Even submersibles struggled, as giant squids avoided light and disturbance. This added to their mystique. How could an animal so large remain so hidden? The gap between myth and reality remained wide, fueling curiosity across generations. The turning point came in the early 21st century. Japanese researchers, after years of preparation, finally captured images of a living giant squid in 2004. Using specialized equipment and bait, they photographed long arms reaching out of the black depths. For the first time, humanity stared at the living reality behind centuries of maritime nightmares. Later, in 2012, video footage emerged of a giant squid filmed in its natural habitat off Japan's Ogasawara Islands. The glowing, silver-skinned creature moved gracefully. Nothing like the clumsy monsters depicted in art. It was eerie, alien, but undeniably real. Viewers worldwide marveled science had caught up with legend, and the Kraken's shadow finally had a face. Yet the mystery isn't fully solved. Questions remain about their behavior, population, and true maximum size. Could they grow larger than what is Zeben filmed? Do colossal squid in the Antarctic, a separate species, surpass them in girth and power? Science continues to probe the abyss, but uncertainty keeps the legend of the Kraken alive alongside proven biology. The sheer size of giant squids continues to astonish. Most recorded specimens reach lengths of 30 to 40 feet, with tentacles accounting for much of that measurement. Yet stories persist of individuals much larger, some said to stretch over 60 feet. Whether myth or reality, these numbers blur the line between biology and seafaring legend. Suction cups on squid tentacles aren't harmless there, lined with serrated rings of chitin, like tiny circular saws. When squids battle sperm whales, these hooks leave scars on whale skin. Such marks have been found on whales worldwide. They are living evidence of epic struggles taking place in the blackness where sunlight never reaches. For Norse sailors, witnessing thrashing waters or whale carcasses marked with strange scars could only mean one thing: a monster. Without cameras or scientific language, they framed what they saw through legend. The Kraken became the explanation for chaos at sea storms, disappearances, or eerie battles glimpsed in fleeting moments before the ocean swallowed them again. Science now offers explanations, but the imagery remains powerful. The thought of arms thicker than tree trunks, eyes the size of basketballs, and beaks capable of slicing prey still feels monstrous. Even when stripped of exaggeration, giant squids embody the fearsome qualities sailors once described. Myth was wrong in detail, but right in spirit. Modern research suggests giant squids are ambush predators. They lurk in darkness, relying on huge eyes to detect faint bioluminescence. When prey approaches, they lash out with lightning speed, tentacles shooting forward to grasp and drag victims into a sharp beak. It's efficient, brutal, and the perfect hunter for the deep. Despite this predatory power, giant squids are fragile. Their bodies lack bones, and they collapse under their own weight outside water. That's why carcasses washed ashore often look grotesque, shapeless, or ducative, fueling myths of sea monsters. With distorted features, to frightened onlookers centuries ago, such remains only confirmed tales of unnatural beasts. The colossal squid, discovered later in Antarctic waters, adds another layer, while slightly shorter in length than giant squids. It is bulkier with massive hooks on its tentacles. Some scientists argue it could be more formidable than Architeuthis ducks. If giant squids inspired the Kraken, then colossal squids are the monsters science has only begun to understand. Encounters with these creatures remain vanishingly rare. Most evidence still comes from whales, carcasses, or accidental captures in deep-sea nets. To see one alive in its natural environment is exceptional. Each photograph or video feels like a glimpse into another world, alien and unfamiliar, yet undeniably part of our own planet's hidden depths. For coastal communities in Iceland and Norway, squid remains often washed ashore. These discoveries reinforced belief in monsters. Fishermen told stories of tentacles, tangling nets, or dragging boats sideways. With little scientific framework to explain them, villages turned to myth. In oral traditions, each retelling grew larger, ensuring the Kraken loomed ever bigger in memory. Today, the Kraken symbolizes more than fear. It represents humanity's relationship with the unknown. It stands at the meeting point of myth and science, culture and biology. We see it in movies, books, and games. Yet we also recognize it in lab specimens and submarine footage. The Kraken lives both as fantasy and as fact, refusing to fade. The Kraken's influence reached beyond Nordic waters. By the 19th century, writers and poets embraced the monster as a metaphor for human fear. Alfred Lord Tennyson poem, the Kraken, described a vast beast lurking beneath waves, surfacing only at the end of the world. Literature gave the legend immortality, even as science chipped away at mystery. In art and folklore, the Kraken often symbolized chaos. Tentacles became visual shorthand for forces beyond control. Finance, war, politics. Even today, cartoons and posters use tentacles to represent overwhelming threats. This imagery lingers because it resonates. Humans fear what they cannot master, and few environments remind us of our limits as starkly as the sea. The ocean itself encourages exaggeration, vast, dark, and unpredictable. It plays tricks on the senses. Sailors facing exhaustion, hunger, and storms could easily mistake natural phenomena for monsters. Waves rising like walls, bioluminescent flashes in the night, or masses of jellyfish pulsing together all might appear otherworldly to those with little context or scientific explanation. Modern oceanography provides context. Bioluminescent plankton can light entire bays, while deep currents form whirlpools capable of spinning small boats. Giant squids add biological evidence to these legends. Together, they create a world where myth and science overlap, each fueling the other. The Kraken may not be real, but the conditions that created it certainly are. As exploration deepens, our tools improve. Submersibles now carry cameras that withstand crushing pressures. Remotely operated vehicles sweep the seafloor, while satellite-linked hydrophones record faint noises. These technologies have captured footage of giant squids, bringing them out of legend. But even with all this, the creatures remain elusive, rarely seen alive despite their enormous size. The elusiveness only fuels fascination. When the first high-definition video of a giant squid surfaced, people worldwide watched in awe. Its long arms moved with alien grace, silver skin flashing. Here was the Kraken, not imagined but real, alive and mesmerizing. The footage proved that legends could step into reality without losing their sense of wonder. For scientists, the challenge now is understanding behavior. Do giant squids migrate? How do they hunt in complete darkness? What role do they play in deep-sea ecosystems? These questions remain unanswered. Each discovery adds a new thread to the tapestry, reminding us that even the monsters we can film are still actively. Cultural fascination ensures the Kraken never dies. From Hollywood blockbusters to video games, the image of a colossal tentacled beast continues to thrill. It connects ancient fears with modern imagination. The fact that science confirms giant squids exist only strengthens the myth, offering proof that legends can have roots in reality. Yet separating myth from fact is crucial. The Kraken of legend could sink ships like toys. The giant squid, though formidable, does not attack humans or wreck vessels. Its true battles are with whales in unseen arenas. Knowing this doesn't diminish the awe, it deepens Italiano. Reality is often stranger and more thrilling than the fiction it inspired. In the end, the Kraken story is about humanity itself. We turn the unknown into monsters, then chase those monsters until science reveals the truth. Sometimes the truth is smaller, but sometimes it's grander. The giant squid embodies this paradox. A creature of nightmares that exists in reality, stranger and more beautiful than imagination ever allowed. Legends of the Kraken remind us how fear shapes culture. For Norse sailors, it explained the unexplainable. For scientists, centuries later, it hinted at truths waiting in the deep. The monster is not just a beast of the sea, but a mirror of human imagination, our way of giving form to the unknown. The giant squid Architeuthis ducks has become an icon in its own right. Museums display reconstructed models, while documentaries showcase footage of elusive individuals. Each sighting is celebrated, not as terror, but as triumph. Humanity no longer fears the Kraken. We marvel at the squid, respecting its mystery as part of Earth's natural heritage. Still, much remains hidden. The deep sea is Earth's largest unexplored region, more alien than outer space. Only a fraction of giant squid behavior is documented. How do they reproduce? How long do they live? Until we answer these questions, the creatures remain half myth, half science spoken, in spirit, even if we know their true names. In this way, the Kraken still lives, not as an island-sized monster, but as a legend that connects generations. From Viking sailors to modern scientists, the story persists. Each new discovery doesn't erase the myth. It adds layers. The Kraken becomes a symbol of how human storytelling evolves alongside knowledge, always striving for. Pop culture ensures the Kraken's immortality. Movies like Pirates of the Caribbean and countless video games depict its tentacles dragging ships into darkness. These portrayals keep the image alive, ensuring younger audiences inherit the legend. Unlike many myths, the Kraken adapts, blending folklore with modern entertainment, proving monsters never truly die if culture keeps them breathing. Science, however, insists on grounding the myth. While films exaggerate, researchers carefully catalog real squid specimens. Each measurement brings us closer to understanding. Instead of whirlpools and shipwrecks, we speak of bioluminescence, predation, and ecosystem balance. Yet science and story need not be enemies that complement each other. One thrilling the heart, the other informing the mind. The Kraken story also reflects humanity's eternal curiosity. We invent myths not to replace truth, but to guide us toward it. Fear drives exploration. Wonder sustains it. Without the legend, perhaps we would not have pursued the squid with such dedication. Myth lights the path, and science walks it, revealing reality hidden in shadow. Ultimately, the Kraken is proof of how myths evolve into science. What began as sailors' terror became scientific discovery. Today, we marvel at giant squids in documentaries, not sagas, but the OE remains unchanged. Whether told in Norse halls or on YouTube, the message endures. The ocean is vast, mysterious, and worthy of respect. As explorers push deeper into the abyss, we may find even stranger creatures. Perhaps one day a squid larger than any yet recorded will surface, giving new weight to old legends. Until then, the Kraken survives as symbol, a bridge between myth and biology, reminding us that every legend carries a seed of truth. So when you hear the word Kraken, think not only of monstrous arms pulling ships apart, but also of giant squid gliding silently in the dark. Both are true in their way. Myth feeds imagination. Science feeds knowledge. Together, they create a story as endless as the sea itself, where mystery and discovery swim side by side.